Hey, welcome to another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. So, remember how I told you a couple of weeks I didn't really want to talk about Donald Trump because he takes all the air out of the room, and my God, there's going to be plenty of news over the next year. I don't think I have to talk about things every day. This ain't every day. As a matter of fact, this is probably the most rarefied air I've ever seen. I was listening to Tim Pool this morning because I really like him. I think he's a smart dude. He's shown himself to be with it, I guess, is probably a term most of the young people here don't really remember. But nonetheless, and he had mentioned that the judge in the fraud case against Donald Trump in New York State Supreme Court named Arthur Engoron, Engoron, for any of you Trumpers who want to find out where he is and shit, ruled yesterday, that former President Donald Trump, his family, and the Trump Organization are liable for fraud, and ordered some of the former president's companies to be dissolved. That's actually really important. Now of course I don't follow financial cases, generally speaking, but I have never heard of someone going that far in a fraud case to dissolve, from the bench, dissolve businesses. And this is what they ran with. Okay, so Engoron granted Letitia James, the DA for New York's Manhattan Division, a partial summary judgment on his first cause of action, which would be the fraud case, resulting in Donald J. Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Alan Weisselberg, Jeffrey McConney, the DJT Revocable Trust, the Trump Organization, Inc., the Trump Organization, LLC, DJT Holdings, LLC, DJT Holdings Managing Member, LLC, Trump Endeavor 12, LLC, 401 North Wabash Venture, LLC, Trump Old Post Office, LLC, 40 Wall Street, LLC, and 7 Springs, LLC, being found liable for fraud. And so they're just going to take them away from him. Yeah. A former president of the United States is being stripped of his ability to make money in New York. Or, I don't know if he can move someplace else and do that. I would have fucking bailed on New York decades ago, but Donald is a big New Yorker. He thinks the world of the city. He really does. I don't have any doubt of that. But so as a result of Tuesday's ruling, several of Trump's companies have been ordered to dissolve. In his ruling, this is a really important framework for this thing, ordered that within 10 days, not 10 business days, 10 straight days, the parties are directed to recommend the names of no more than 3 potential independent receivers to manage the dissolution of the canceled LLCs. 10 days. That doesn't even give him time to file a appeal to a higher court. Like, I think New York is covered by the Second Circuit, which is a pretty liberal circuit, but hey, gotta take your shot, right? Hopefully, his attorneys already had that thing lined up, because honestly, 10 days, nobody's even going to see that for 3. It's going to have to be shuffled around for 2 or 3 more days. Then you hit a weekend. At least I don't think there's a holiday in there. Won't be seen again until next Monday. Not this coming Monday, the next Monday, which is almost 2 weeks. That's 11 days. If he gets really lucky, somebody will see it before 10 and be able to at least make a attempt at a stay until, at least get a 30 to 60 day stay. That's what I bet they're looking for. That's what I bet they're going to look for. The former president, his family, and multiple executives will now face claims of bank fraud and insurance fraud in a civil trial of about $250 million that is expected to begin in October and last through December. Now, that's going to be more important because now that they pulled all these companies out from under him, they pulled the assets from those companies as well. Meaning he has that much less money to deal with. $250 million is a lot of cash. And while he says he's a billionaire, these 7 companies might be a good chunk of it. You never know. And if it's a good chunk of it, he might have to finance that fee or that fine. I'm sorry, not fee, fine. I don't expect that that's going to happen. I mean, I fully expect the Trump attorneys to file an appeal. I don't know if it's going to go anyplace because it has to get past this Engoron guy first. They file the appeal. He says yay or nay. More likely nay. No, get your shit done in 10 days, then we'll talk. Well, by that time, all his financial assets are locked up. He doesn't have access to that cash flow anymore. So, yeah, they're trying to bankrupt him, and this might actually do it, because between this and the 3 other cases, the other indictments, it's going to cost him pretty close to $500 million just to run his legal team, just to run his legal teams, because there's going to be more than one. The civil guys aren't going to work in the criminal cases. That's not their job. That's not what they do. So he's probably got at least 2 teams: the financial fraud team, which is a civil team, and then the criminal teams. I know that one team is built on what do you call those guys? Constitutional attorneys, and then another team is built with criminal attorneys. So that's a total of 3 teams that I know of so far. It's a real possibility there's going to be a team each for each thing. Now the question becomes, if he becomes the Republican candidate for president, and Joe Biden goes all the way through next year to run as the sitting president, and I'm honest, I honestly am not certain that's going to occur. It would surprise me if it did. It would surprise me if he gets all the way through. But the bigger surprise would be if he doesn't get through and they don't shove Kamala Harris to the side to install Governor Gavin Newsom, governor of California, as the candidate for president. It opens the door for a lot of people in the Democrat Party, but I don't think a lot of people will run. You only got Robert Kennedy Jr. right now running, and I like what the guy has to say. He sounds very much like his uncle. Which is a more conservative view. I just can't do his voice for a sentence or 2. I can't do it for more than that. If he actually, gets serious about running and makes a lot of noise, and Biden has to debate him, Biden will get smoked. But maybe he can get his throat worked on and cleaned up. I don't know. We had a governor here in California, Pete Wilson. He had a squeak in his voice, and he actually got it fixed. But it was after he left office or was voted out of office. People used to give him a lot of crap about that. And I'm kind of surprised that Robert Kennedy hasn't tried to do something about his voice already, because it really sounds very raspy and like he's pushing very hard to get past that sound to speak. Nonetheless, my big fear is that they will do all this. They'll move Biden to a home. They'll just kick Kamala Harris out and run Gavin Newsom, who's slick as owl snot on a doorknob. There is no doubt about it. He is a dyed-in-the-wool pig. He doesn't give a damn about us. He's proven that multiple times. He thinks he's bulletproof because he has been. And that's the rub. That's the real rub there. He thinks he's bulletproof because he has been. And what I need him to be is a has-been. Because he doesn't deserve, he doesn't deserve the office. 2, he's not worthy of the office. And 3, he will absolutely trash this country. You can say anything you want about California. But if you look at our finances, they are not even remotely close to what he says they are. And the one thing I want you to remember, if he's running, he stole $1 billion from the state of California to buy Chinese PPE during the pandemic so he wouldn't be beholden to Trump. $1 billion. $1 billion that's gone because we didn't get that. We didn't get that PPE. The reason we didn't get that PPE is because it was covered in freaking COVID-19. It went through customs twice and was proven to be covered in COVID-19. Absolutely worthless to the United States. Had to be burned. Had to be destroyed. Couldn't send it back. We weren't getting the money back. When he was called on it, he said, "Hey, man, I have emergency powers. I can do whatever I want." So think about that. Remember that Donald Trump is getting railroaded. And I'm not saying that as a conservative. I'm saying that as somebody who's never seen this kind of vitriol against a presidential candidate or a former president. Never. Even Nixon, even Richard Nixon, who was basically trashed by everybody, when he resigned, gone. They let him go. We're not going to run anymore. We won't run anything else against him. That was it. What? And this is what they're doing to Donald J. Trump. Now, you may not like him, and I'm okay with that. I'm not super fond of the dude, but the things he did in office, for the most part, there were things I didn't agree with, but for the most part, he's America first. I'm America first. I believe in the oath that I took when I joined the military. And there's no expiration date on that oath. Protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Period. There's no expiration date. It's for the rest of my life. Period. So there, I've said everything I have to say about that. Look this case up. I will link it below when I get a chance. I'm really sorry about that, though. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to have to make a thing about. Sorry about that as well. I didn't think I'd have to make a thing about Donald Trump. I honestly thought, he'll get past this. It won't. There's no way that they could smoke him for this, but it looks like they're going to. Think about that too. He was a nobody. I mean, he was a wealthy guy, but as far as politics go, he was a nobody. Nobody really knew his politics. Everybody thought he was a Democrat, for God's sake. What he is, though, is a businessman, and he knows how to run a business. And he knows how to, The Art of the Deal is a great book. Read it if you get a chance. It will tell you everything you need to know about Donald Trump as well. He is all about the deal, as long as he gets the best end of it. Now, all that being said, remember, even fluffy bunnies have teeth and claws for a reason. Live long, fight hard, win the day. See ya!